I mean, good as can be expected, I suppose. All right, so check. 1, 2.
Daddy shark, daddy shark.
And why can't we start? Why can't we start one damn day without me having to murder freaking you?
Because maybe you need to practice your deep breathing exercises every once in a while.
Oh, I'll
We
make you
have this
practice.
talk.
I'm gonna make you practice deep breathing.
You mean deep throating, right?
Well,
When I'm around you, I do.
I mean, he's going to have to learn to breathe around it. So,
Should I leave now? Or
started
You
breaking up there.
started.
What?
should I leave now? Or
Oh no, you're the guest of honor.
oh, Captain Butcher.
It will be all right. We will get along very good.
No, we would not. Very
Oi.
I did.
goodbye.
It's all right. Everything all right. Come, pretty elf.
I mean, he has one thing right. How gorgeous Roro is.
Yes, he is well dressed. Very good. We like. Clothes, however, better in corner.
He's gonna. Oh god. He's gonna need to be Roro's like spokesperson. Without ever actually getting near Roro.
Good luck with that. Okay. So, in the interim here, we had a little bit of conversation between the groups of Scotty and Gil, where he, at least for the time being, calmed the dragon lady's nerves, or at least enough to go and find the others to discuss their next step, while Roro was out again busking for coin and having a little conversation that's taken place with our new dwarven companion Morgrim. And last we left to that is Morgrim, you were asking about a smithy.
Yep.
Okay, because you've been in town a couple of days. You heard from Guess that there's no open smithies here, and the apprenticeship program is well, you have to sign in with you have to basically sign up with the craftsman guilds to go and just get work or foundry or forge access. Some have personal forges available to them in their own homes, depending on if they feel the need to, so that they can repair some of their equipment or work on things for hobby craft. But it's nothing, no like sellable goods, as you go through one of the either the tradesman unions or the smithing guilds, the craftsmen's guilds. On your no, that's not the screen I wanted. In fact, that screen can go away right now. We're not using that. We're also not using that screen. We need this screen? Yes. The crafting of items is relegated to several smiths. You know of a few around Triander that are kind of the predominant ones.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. On here, on this island, you have. See, you know that the three predominant ones here are Red Razor Arms, the Silver Point Reserve, and the Quicksilver Cache.
Okay. And do I assume that I would be able to get access to any of those?
This is where you could buy equipment from them.
It's not what I want to do. I want to buy materials and possibly rent space to work.
You would have to. You can buy. You can buy the equipment, or the materials from one of the tradesmen. To rent access in the forge, you would have to talk to one of the individuals or one of the places that has forges. It would take a little bit of time for you to craft an item. Let me double check here. You could probably spend a good day, because general crafting is 25 gold a day for item crafting.
Mm-hmm.
With successful check. So you were thinking about making what?
I want to make a pretty rapier.
A rapier? Okay, you could get that done in a day's worth of smithing, because a rapier costs a baseline of 25. So
I want it to be like more than just your basic go to the shop and buy a rapier. I want it to be like decorative and personalized to an extent.
okay, you'd have to gather the materials in order to do that, but it would be possible for you to do. There's some gem cutters around on each of the islands. Part of like accounting. Basically, you can. The questions that you would have is, to where to gather these materials. You could easily get this information from Guess.
Okay.
And she'll give you, she'll give you the locations of one of the banks, the bank on this island that would
bank now.
You don't have to rob a bank, but they do trade in gems. So if you give them gold, they can give you gems of relative value. The counting houses and exchanges there. You're dealing with adventurers. They come up with a lot of random shit in the course of their their excursions. So they have places where all that is processed for the city and all that sort of thing. And you could probably go to one of the how do you want to put it? One of the various smiths, like one of the big name smiths, who would probably have scrap or spare materials for you to be able to craft it. And then the hard part is convincing somebody with a forge to let an unlicensed individual use their accommodations, but it is possible,
Before I come in,
potentially.
the smooth words of "I get what I want when I want it."
Well, I mean, this is a thing for you, so pitch in whenever you like.
Exactly. I can always run my mouth aimlessly.
So on getting the information from guests, because I imagine you probably went back to Monty's Hall to get all of that, get the information in quick order. So you get the locations of the 3 arms crafters on this island. And you will also get the location of another one, which she that Guess and prefers using, and that's on the Dwarven Burrows, or in the Burrows, called Heavy Hands Hold. That's the one that's the place that she uses.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, she will inform you, and also to your guest, who I assume is with you.
Yeah, he was following me around last I checked.
Like a puppy.
Yeah.
Pretty puppy.
Oh, it's a little Shih Tzu.
I sent you a thing of basically what I want to do. It's
I don't know where the thing is, so.
your private message.
Okay, well, it didn't pop up anywhere. Okay.
I want the picture.
You'll get one when it's done.
I feel left out.
It's all this is for you.
Shut
You
up,
can't-
I don't listen to logic.
Ain't that the truth? Roro.
Wow.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay, so Guess will basically give the two of you a rundown of also one of the other points, interesting points for tourists such as yourselves, that each one of these major arms crafters specializes in, well, they have to stand out from one another. So each of them over the course of the years has essentially made some would call a gimmick, but others would, it is some kind of focus.
Okay.
And she'll inform you that Heavy Hands basically specializes in, well, much more solid equipment. Good old dwarven construction. Their weapons might be a little more unwieldy, but they pack they pack it with extra weight inside them to make their strikes fall harder, but it does make them a little unwieldy. And the armors are crafted very sturdily, with the ability to keep yourself with, just someone skilled in it, they can plant themselves much more readily by, shifting the weight around on their feet.
Nice.
So, with that information, you are kind of let out onto the street. Uh, Roro, just because it's you, go ahead and give me just a perception as you're kind of listening to all this.
Just because it's me.
Just because it's you. Well, you are kind of a paranoid guy.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. So as during this whole conversation, you do notice a rather young-looking elf, pale with not quite the same silvery hair as you, but more of like a kind of a duller gray, but still somewhat pale. Very a young looking elven boy who is sitting nearby with a large book in his lap, going through it. You notice that he kind of seems to be paying more attention to this conversation than perhaps he intended to let on. See that he's kind of got a little bit of a watchful eye on the pair of you.
You said he was pale?
Yeah, not like he's definitely has this studious look about him. So,
River will take a step over.
as the young lad is focusing more on his book, but you can see a slight twitch or a little slight tick in his ear that he's definitely aware of your approach.
River was going to be giving him the suspicious eye. So what are you reading?
I am conducting my studies, if that's quite all right with you.
We'll see if you're interesting enough. We'll see if it's all right then.
Just gives you that
Conducting your studies
blank.
for what?
Just kind of give him a sign. My arcane studies. I have to keep myself sharp so that I am effective when the call comes for my aid.
The call, you say?
Yes, when Mother Gisela calls on us to accept someone's request, I must keep my mind sharpened and my abilities well documented.
River will kind of lower himself, like sit on like the balls of his feet and rest his elbows on his knees. Yeah, tell me more about that.
I doubt you would understand it.
And why is that? I'm very, very intelligent person, despite my beauty.
He just openly just rolls his eyes. It takes years of study to grasp this level of power, and you do not look to be a studious person yourself.
Huh. That's
It,
rude.
it is only because I am such a prodigy that I am able to understand this advanced level.
A prodigy, huh? You really don't look like a prodigy. You know? You look more like one of those bratty children that don't have a very good education.
Roro?
Oh god.
Let's see here.
Yes. Stop looking through your books like I don't know what's going to happen.
What do you think is going to happen?
Someone's going to end me. I don't know.
Then you don't know what's going to happen.
Shut up, you're going to ask me to roll something and when I fail, I'm going to die.
I mean, that's possible. Let's see. What kind of magic spell to use?
Oh my god.
Oh, come on. Where is what I want? Ah, yes. There we are. So, Roro,
No.
I would like you to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Fuck me. Oh my god. Does counter charm have any effect here?
No.
Dispel magic.
Okay, so you hear an echoing reverberation as you see at first you feel an echo kind of reverberating in your mind as this child is kind of runs their finger across the edges of this almost comically large, I mean, it is comparatively large tome to the individual. And you feel this wave of nausea just wash over you as you feel a lurch and your bones kind of shift and kind of shiver inside your skin as you feel your skin grow moist and clammy, and you see you see the child and the seat that he's in, this overlarge recliner, start to grow and expand, or at least you thought it was growing and expanding, whereas you're getting smaller and smaller. As you're looking around, your arms are shrinking inward, and your skin is turning this mottled brown-green color. And in a moment, you find yourself resting on the floor. A large, bulbous-eyed, warty toad.
He turned me into a toad.
Yes, he did.
What in the old sweet child? I'm about to go get that one.
Does Morgrim see this?
I imagine you were probably paying attention to what Roro was doing. That's kind of up to you. But yeah, for sake of fun, yes, you overhear, at least casually, you know, in the background, Roro and the child that you know as his name is Tenver.
Oh, so I know this kid?
You've seen him about normally in the mornings when you come here. Guess is usually cooking breakfast for the members of the hall, and Tenver is usually sitting nearby studying his spell book. And in passing, you've seen all the members of these individuals. You know Gisela Hinterland, which is she's in charge of Monty's Hall. You know that she's a priestess. There's Tenver of Rodale, a gray elven wizard child. There's a human rogue by the name of Jeremy Cambridge, a human ranger. Her name is Felicity Southrunner. There's a half-elven fighter named Doris Kendall, and there's a human priestess by the name of Coriander Hamill. And because you were introduced to these people while you were staying there, but yeah, Tenver is usually up early, as he is the only full elf around. So he's up before everybody else, and he's usually sitting patiently in the living room as Gisela makes everyone breakfast for when they come around. But yes, your attention is definitely peeked over there when you hear a very large, indignant croak coming from the chair next to the child.
And that's where Roro was last I noticed.
Well, I mean, Roro was there a moment ago, and he's not there now.
We can all say it. We're adults in the room. He was bitch talking to child.
I mean,
He was antagonizing a child. Yes.
this. Do I know if he's usually like standoff,
brat?
or is he? Do I know anything?
You may or may not have made a. Why is it that every time I try to play D&D here and type something out, my keyboard goes dark? I want to try. I want to just.
Nice to your keyboard.
Well, yeah, but it was blinking like its battery was dead, but I just changed it a little bit ago, so I don't even know. Okay, so no keyboard.
I'm sorry, problem child.
Yeah, I wanted to spell it out for you, but I will here so that it's Tenvor, Tenvor.
Okay.
That was for. But yes, you did overhear the antagonizing of a child. Yes.
Can you spell that for me again?
Tenvor.
Sorry, I heard the T, and I figured that was wrong.
Okay. Yes, you got that right.
Hearing friends of wondering.
I'm in need of a new keyboard, a wired one at this point, apparently.
Wow. You get the one Jess has. She's had this thing for years and years and years and never had any problems with it.
It's just apparently the batteries are weak. But whatever.
Try and find and send a link to the one Jessica has, because it was affordable and it's never had any issue. And it's not a rechargeable.
Yeah, why don't they have a
charge and you're good to go?
Oh, it's not it's a USB charge one?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. That might be worth looking into. The wonder of our era USB charging. So yeah. You heard Roro antagonizing a child. Tenver is a little standoffish, and you may or may not have had a slight bit of bristling upon meeting them. Depends on whether or not you would talk down to them and treat them as though a child.
Mm-hmm.
If you hadn't, he would have been slightly cool of personality, but not aggressive. So that's the thing.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe a little standoffish. Definitely thinks highly of themselves for being such a young wizard.
Gotcha. And I did not overhear anything that was said.
You know what? Go ahead and give me perception.
Yes.
Yeah, you were keeping an ear out because apparently, just even by instinct, you get the sense that Roro's mouth tends to get him in trouble.
Such a quick learner, I see.
Yeah, apparently. You definitely heard him antagonizing and being antagonized in return. And you heard the murmuring. It's pretty obvious that he's done something to your companion.
All right. I will approach. What time of day is it?
It's like mid-morning going on towards it's probably mid-morning, not quite. It's like 8, 9 o'clock ish. As you approach, the child is just gone straight back to his book like nothing ever happened.
Like a true wizard.
Yeah, pretty much just like
Little bitch.
and back to your business.
He will approach and morning, Kenva.
Mr. Mogram. Still flipping through his pages.
My friend there. He's got his
Ribbit.
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 What was that?
Mr. Fuck. Accent down, shit.
Come on, be that Aussie dwarf.
My friend that was talking to you, he think he's a little green now.
Likely with
A
envy.
little. Sorry, Ribbit.
He said, likely with envy.
That may be, but he was kind of helping me with a project, and wondering if he could drop it. Maybe we can get out of your hair.
You'll just kind of look over. You see he'll lean over one of the large arms of the chairs down at the toe. Just maybe if it's learned its lesson.
Ribbit. Sorry, angry riveting. I'm more or less a better example of what I was going for.
Okay. Very educational. I suppose. So he'll just kind of twirl his fingers absently in the air, and you see the warts kind of burble and spread across the leathery body as spurts of white silver hair start jutting out from the centers of them, small strands, and suddenly pours out more as his form slowly starts convulsing and growing, swelling in size as he stands up finally into his full Roro-like stature, just kind of trembling a little bit from the experience of his forceful toting. And Tenver will go right back to his book.
River will be red in the face, more so from embarrassment than anger.
Well, that was quite a sight, but thank you, Tenva.
And just silently give you a nod.
Sorry for interrupting your studies.
Again, just a curt little half nod. Just kind of like a, yeah, that's right.
What do you say we get the hell out of here?
I
We
was
got the
very much like
information
that.
we needed.
Knees to chest, Morgrim. Knees to chest.
As you're leaving Monty's Hall, you will notice that, as you're turning your attention away from Tenver and moving towards the exit, you see in the doorway to the kitchen, Guess, arms folded across her chest, kind of looking down at the child with this very disapproving motherly look, and Morgrim, with your perception lingering there, is just you almost see a half grin out of Tenver, but a moment of realization almost that the elven boy almost feels the gaze of Guess on him, and you see that self-satisfied smirk just kind of wipe off his face into a neutral expression as he seems to almost kind of pull the book up a little further, almost as if it was a shield of some form. And you head back out into the streets.
Yes, armed with knowledge of where to look for stuff.
I would like to not go back in there. If we don't need to, that is.
It's alright. How about we go see about getting some material? And then I could probably use your help with the getting access to a forge. I'm not really the talky type.
That's been working out well for him right now.
There are two things that are possibly to happen if I'm talking to them. That they'll give you this entire town and you'll ever their king, or we'll go to jail.
Well, I'm shooting for a little bit more of a gray area.
Talking to the wrong elf, boy.
I'm very much a black and white person, so we will see how that goes. But my intentions are always better, so you should be the owner of this town by the time we leave. You'll be fine.
Some confidence you got there.
Don't really want to own the town. I just want access to somewhere to make my thing.
Morgum. No fun. I will definitely get you your forge. Hopefully.
Definitely, hopefully.
Definitely, confidently, hopefully, to the side, muttered a little bit.
80% of the time, it works every time. So, armed with that, Scotty, where are you off to at this point?
Well, if she's calmed down, then perhaps, did Johan say specifically that she had to find the things on his list?
What was that?
Did Johan say specifically that she'd have to find the things on his list?
To find them?
Yes, she got a shopping list from him, but does she have to find them, or can she check in some stores and see if she can buy them?
He just wanted various herbs for his alchemy. He didn't mention directly how you had come across them.
Okay, then I suppose she would think about finding an alchemist shop.
Okay.
Also, did she ever replace her alchemist kit?
No, you did not, I don't believe. Did you?
I couldn't remember if Gil had gifted her one after the fire or not.
No, because those things are a little more on the pricey side.
No, because what?
Because they are more on the pricey side, I believe. Let me double check, because he didn't have a terrible lot of money.
Roro was gonna offer to sell his body for it.
Yeah, alchemist supplies are 50 gold on their own. And he opted more to get you kind of situated for the road again.
Okay, fair enough. I just wanted to check.
Yeah, no worries.
Maybe with the pretty please, Roro will perform for you and collect the gold.
So she wants to look for an alchemy shop.
You can find a couple of apothecaries here and there.
Alright. Well, I mean, she's not going to be picky. She just wants to see if there's one with some of the things that Johan had wanted to get.
Oh yeah, this place is pretty well stocked. It's manned by it's manned by a young human man, kind of short, shaggy blonde, dirty blonde hair. You know, he's wearing small round spectacles and seems to have a heavy apron and some thick work gloves on. As you kind of come into the shop, and yeah, there's a bunch of there's a bunch of smells here, like all the smells. Drying, there seems to be herbs being dried here, some pre-prepared in glass vials. You see a few potions scattered not scattered, but you see a couple of racks with small, thin vials, both filled and empty. You see blocks of incense, blocks, sticks, just it looks like if you need to do alchemy or some kind of incense burning, looks like this guy's got you some kind of covered.
All right. Well, it doesn't look like I have the specifics of what was on Johan's list. It does look like, while she was traveling, she found acacia blossoms.
Yes, acacia is one of the more common ones, mainly because it is used a lot in healing, specifically.
Okay, so I suppose we'll say that she's marked down on that list that she's gotten 6 of those, but otherwise she'll want to hand the list over to the shopkeep and ask him if he had any of those.
Oh, there's quite a few that they've got. Some of which are notably more expensive than others.
What kind of prices are we looking at?
Well, A bundle of acacia prepared is worth 25 gold on its own.
Okay, so she's gonna be looking for just usable, not prepared raw items.
Well, I mean,
Might be cheaper.
prepared is they're still usable for them. The raw stuff is probably going to be just as expensive because it's currently being prepared for use.
You're killing me, Quinn.
The raw stuff. Think of it as kind of like tanning. You don't just skin a beast and then start making a coat out of it. You've got to treat the skin to make it into a leather or a usable fur to make stuff out of.
You don't know.
The acacia that you've collected, you have already as you're going have prepared it for use. That's also for storage.
Okay, so there's nothing here that would be inexpensive then.
Let's see here. They do have bundles of adder's tongue, which is useful for curing poisons. At 10 gold per bundle.
Oh man. Okay, so
Let's see some of the other stuff that is on the lesser expense. They do have some treated what he's calling blessed rose petals that they have been grown in the Davida Trivium's garden specifically. Those can purify beverages. Those go for about 10 gold a piece.
Scotty will try to keep the skeptical look off her face. I'm going to assume that everything's around 10 gold, and that is more than Scotty's looking to spend. She'd rather look for it on her own.
Yeah, from what it is here, a lot of these are very potent things, and no batch of it seems to be going for anything less than. I mean, he does have some for 5 gold. He does have some particularly treated pomegranates.
Pomegranates?
Yeah, go ahead and roll your Arcana. You do recall something. Your master's books that if they're less so than your tropical during certain conditions throughout the year, specifically during the sunset of the hallowed eve, these fruits picked with in certain fashion. You're a little hazy on the direct ritual to it, but it is rumored that that consuming the fruit of these the fruit of this plant allows you to travel briefly into other planes.
That will kind of spark an interest for her, but deciding since they still have to get through the desert, she will have to move on and hope to find the things on Johan's list in the wild.
He can sell you north seed pod north word seed pods for 5 golds apiece. You know, make mentioning that if you toss them into the breeze, they will always start flying northward.
Should I assume that Gil's still accompanying the dragon?
Yeah, he's kind of hanging back, just kind of looking at all this stuff going, wow, whoa. Like, he doesn't get half the stuff here. He's looking at... You see him looking at some of the pre-prepared potions, which are clearly labeled. He goes, okay, I know what that is. I know what that is. See him checking his coin bag, but doesn't have anything to really buy for it.
Scotty will kind of smirk. Gil, do you think we'll have trouble with directions while we're out there?
Well, not until we... As far as I know, we just follow the road up to the Bright Wall. And past that, I don't know what the road conditions are like in through the desert.
Well, road conditions aside, do you think that we'll be able to kind of do it as we did the boat and navigate back?
Yeah. I think so long as we have some clear skies, I'm pretty sure we can find our way north. Especially traveling, nighttime through the desert.
She'll nod. Alright, I suppose we should just go find the others then.
Yeah, alright. So, 2 of you leave the shop, and because I don't want to go through all the rigmarole, as the 2 of you are walking on your individual pursuits, you will cross each other's path.
Hey, I would really enjoy if you didn't mention anything about the toad to them. Thanks.
I laughed.
What was that you broke?
I did not realize I was muted. I laughed.
Well, how's your guys' day going so far?
It's Morgan. How's their day going so far?
Going alright. We're just looking, find somewhere I can do some work.
Scotty just has narrowed eyes on Roro because she knows him.
You did. That question is suspicious. You did something.
Would you like to roll for that, bitch?
I mean, that's fair. So we will, just for the giggles of it, we'll have insight versus deception.
Versus what?
Insight versus deception. You know what you did. Well, she might have your number, Roro.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she knows you well enough that response is suspicious.
He's just gonna try averting eyes, like looking at the sky, building, look at the ground, look at the bird.
Just look at the flowers, Roro.
Morgan, did Roro and you get into some kind of trouble?
No. Didn't get in trouble.
No, it's alright. We just went to where I've been staying to ask for some information about where I could go to do my work.
So, Roro, we're still safe to be here. You're not running your mouth?
I have been learning.
Gil gives you a quirked eye, but doesn't say anything.
Scotty will just shake her head and decide that she doesn't want this argument with the elf.
It's not worth it.
It's only an argument if I actually fought back.
She's
This is
already
true.
irritated with him. She doesn't want a chance actually killing him.
Again.
Oh, you want to get into this, do you? Oh, Scotty, you don't look pissed off anymore. Did something happen? Not in character.
I was gonna say, go ahead, prod that. That's a great move. All right, so, well, let's walk and talk. Where are you headed?
We're going to see about some materials that were pointed out that were pointed out to me. Just I'm gonna do some smith work.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
They mentioned this bank that deals in trading gems. So I thought, otherwise, just need some ore.
It's gonna be really exciting and really pretty.
Take your word on that. So, the first and the easiest stop is the counting house. It's the Shire Savings and Loan, where you're able to trade your gold for pretty much whatever gems that you might need.
Okay.
They've got you. There's a slight markup on it, but they will also inform you, just based off the look of you, that they do in fact sell. They do have quite a good stock of diamonds.
Not what I'm interested in, though.
What? Morgrim, that mouth of yours.
Yeah, she just
Well,
takes.
I
She takes. Go on.
I have limited funds. If you want those, go for it.
I have 17 gold. What can that get me? Thank you for everybody chuckling at me.
I'm going through my notes. Thank you.
I'm talking about the angry dragon and the very cute dwarf over there.
Angry Dragon didn't chuckle in character, silly.
I know. I'm talking about you.
Angry dragon.
Uh,
And be angry and chuckle.
17, you say? 4, 8. Oh well, they do have a small selection of gemstones that are available here. She'll show you some azurite, banded agates, blue quartz, crown of silver, fire and eye agates, freshwater pearl, greenstone, hematite, highline, lapis lazuli, malachite, moss agates, nell vines, chunks of obsidian, rhodochrosite, sanidine, tiger eye agate, turquoise, and violine. There's kind of the gems that are within your price range.
Can I generally ask for a price of 1 diamond?
Apparently the trading is done for the day.
as soon as your alter ego is done yelling at us.
Yeah, a little bit. Uh, well, diamonds they generally have they have larger ones and smaller ones. Generally, they keep to having chunks of diamond that are rough that are kept within the 50 gold range and above for their value. Further explained as she apologized to Morgram, thinking that basically, apologizing for assuming, seeing as how she gets a lot of people of his profession in here looking for diamonds.
It's not my profession.
How much platinum is equal to gold?
1 platinum is equal to 10 gold.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought I had you there. I did not.
The gem trader sees a priest walk into their section, immediately thinks they need diamonds.
I mean, yeah, diamonds would be handy, but for what I'm looking for current.
Uh, then Vervo's going to hand Morgram his gold, and well, why don't you pick out, because this is your project. Personalize it to you, with me in mind.
What?
Huh?
You have Gil and Scotty kind of standing behind you, just going, "What?"
You see, Gil. Funny story. I played wonderful music for everybody that they actually liked, and they just like threw their coins at me. You missed it. I can't believe it. So
Yeah.
Morgan's gonna make me something, I think.
Wow. How about that?
Scotty will step into Gil's side. He knows more than that one annoying song then?
Well, I mean, the crew did teach him a couple of things.
Morgan is a nice person who recognizes beautiful things, like gems.
Scotty will just roll her eyes and eye the exit.
Anyways, the gem I'm looking for is the one that you had asked about.
Oh, do you have any amber?
The clerk will go and start sifting, basically open a slat of wood. Apparently, it's like one of those folding desks, not one of those, like those old school desks, but like a table-sized opening. And she
Like a
lifts.
roll top?
No, not like a roll top, but like a school desk. You know how the old-fashioned school desks had the counter on them that you open up and they had the little basin inside.
Yeah.
Well, she opens.
Showing.
Yeah, I know. It's fine. It's like that, but it's the entirety of their front desk is this individual is in like a cage. Is in basically a secured cage. They lift the lid off the table and it kind of blocks your view of this section. Seems it's a counter and also a bit of a protective thing there. And you hear some shifting going on there. We'll close the lid. Yes, I have three. I have three pieces of amber here. I can exchange them for one of them for 90 gold, one for 50 gold, and the other for 70.
Oh, Quinn, you hurt my heart. Why must
That
you hurt my heart?
it's what amber is listed on my tables. I've got this shit. This was part of my 3rd edition reference guide. Thankfully, I don't have to redo everything.
Coming from my expertise, 50 seems like a lot.
Well, why don't we pull them out and can we have a look at them?
I assure you that these gemstones have been triple corroborated.
It looks more like a 30 to me.
You have not even seen it.
It's
I see everything.
Half the point is
the size is what I need one for my purpose. Anything bigger than that really help.
she will basically describe to you that this is that the least expensive, the one that for 50 is roughly the size of a is roughly the size of a basically one of the smasher marbles.
Mash.
Like the big marbles, the ones that you actually throw with.
Oh.
Oh, I actually knew that reference.
Yeah, that'll show.
But
Finally, an era you're speaking during.
That's an older era. That's about the same era as the lift up desks.
I don't think I like your tone.
Yeah, that's about right.
well, no, I knew what he was talking about. I just can't picture in my head what size that is.
See, probably about roughly, if you can see that, if that mattered. It's about maybe an inch and a half in diameter.
Come on, be a real nerd. Give it to me in die size.
Called out.
Well, I think he's calling me out there because he can see that I'm fiddling with my d20s. Yeah, it's about as round as if you put two d20 together.
2D together.
Yeah, you slam. Boom. Oh shit! They both rolled 15. The hell's wrong with that?
Looks like I won. Thanks. Takes the job.
It's not even on the counter. How are you planning on stealing this?
I know everything.
That's a new way for Roro to get us kicked out of the town.
Just slowly marking off cities that you can never return to again.
That's fine. Well, again, according to my expertise, do you mind if I see it?
Go ahead and make a check on your persuasion.
And as Roro is asking to steal the gems, Scotty will start backing towards the door.
You don't ask to steal anything. You just do it.
Sounds like Roro's asking.
You see the clerk will lift the desk, lift the lid, take the hunk of amber, kind of put it on the table. There's about a good 3 feet of separation between you and where this is. Think like the old style bank tellers, where they had that little slot where you can uh, pass things to and from.
Hey, Quinn.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that big one. It's roughly about that size.
Okay. I think that would work for my purposes then.
But yeah, it's like
Oh,
you. This
damn.
this is a
I don't know if
barred
you've seen his
area.
collection, which puts mine to but
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, it's gated, and there's only a little slot that you can reach in through, and this is about a good 2.5 feet behind that.
Oh, no, no, absolutely not. That is 50 gold?
That is the market value, yes.
The market value really needs to get checked. I would not pay more than like maybe 30 gold for that.
Well, when you find someone to sell it to you for that, you have my blessing.
Oh God, Quinn. Why were
so I mean if Roro wants to keep haggling, that's cool, but I'm pretty sure that 50 gold one will suit my needs.
you have
Probably.
50 gold?
You don't know.
Yeah.
Or like with my help, do you have 50 gold?
How about we go with we can afford it, but if you want to keep haggling, just but go for it. Any saved is good.
Can I roll to see if she's like staggering at all? Like if he has an actual chance here?
Uh, check your insight. The clerk seems very firm. Does not seem to be in the mood to haggle. And you definitely get the vibe that this is an all prices are as marked.
I'm going to write such a bad review about this place when we get out of here, Morgan.
Oh God, stop being Karen.
You're fine. Morgan, if you'd like to spend 50 outrageous pieces of gold, I can help you. If not, I would have a better chance of finding it myself.
I'm not trying to. I'm not really worried about it.
Rare was going to give him a stressed face, like sense the tone.
So, what are you
I
up to?
suppose if you're not worried about it, then you can pay 50 gold pieces for that. He'll hand his gold over to help.
And that is
Well, I do have 2 platinum pieces and 7.
it right. Hold on to that. But more 50 and it over.
All right. You'll slide the coins through the gate. The clerk will check them, nod, and slide back through the through. We'll give you the 50 gold amber.
All right.
Shifty as hell.
If you want to say so.
Oh no. Burrow was just gonna cross his arms noddingly.
Scotty is getting exceedingly nervous with this.
Well, he's not arrested. We gotta count our blessings where we can, right?
Yet.
Well,
The day's still young.
it's true, but now we just got to find some materials, place to work.
Maybe they won't be so rude.
All right, where are you headed?
Oh man, I don't remember where they told us to go.
What Guess had said is there are 3 here in the Shire. They're basically there are three major ones where you could most assuredly get the supplies you need off to actually craft your project. There are some lesser smithies, but they're more like just straight up ironworks, more like civil blacksmiths.
Yeah, horseshoes and like.
Yeah, they're blacksmiths, but not like armorers or weapon crafters. So there, like I said, there are three in the Shire, and there are also 3 in the boroughs and 3 in the glades.
Okay, then I suppose we just go wherever is closest, because I don't know where the fuck they are.
You're in the Shire, which is the South Island, which is the one that has the more like European village aesthetic going with it.
Sweet. That'll work for what I want.
You have Red Razor Arms, the Quicksilver Cache, and the Silver Point Reserve on this island.
Quicksilver. Quicksilver.
Quicksilver, I guess. I don't know. I just don't know where the fuck we are.
You're kind of like in the center of it.
Oh, then they're all about the same distance. So
Yeah, it's...
we can go to-
all right. So you make your way down to the southeast.
It's not as bad.
The Quicksilver Cache is to the general like medieval, not even medieval, but the European village type setting. This one seems to have more a more natural design. This particular building is covered in ivy. It has a small stone gate. Has a small stone fence with what almost seems to be a petrified wood gate to it, which is also kind of choked around with ivy, but easily swings on its hinges going into the foundry.
It has pointed vaulting and square doors and windows as well.
All of it is very rounded, actually.
Interesting aesthetic for a forge.
It definitely sits out a little bit. And as you move into there, there is a storefront, and the rounded windows are more towards the top of the building and almost angled into the ceiling, whereas the shaft of light comes through there, through casting almost a cross pattern along the floors. As there is a young elven man with, kind of honey brown hair, rather gentle expression, and a kind of a plain gray robe, slightly parted at the shoulders, but just, hello, welcome to the Quicksilver Cache. What can I do for you?
Oh, good day. I'm looking to get some. I'm looking to maybe get some materials and see about forging some. If I could maybe rent some space.
Well, I certainly can help you with some of our spare materials.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it doesn't do me a whole lot of good without the space to work.
Yes, I understand. What is it that you are looking to construct for yourself?
I'm looking to make a blade.
Indeed. And do you know with what form of blade will you be looking to make?
Looking for something quick and agile. Don't even know why I'm saying that, because I know he knows what this is, being sailor. Seen lots of them in his day, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, rapiers are it's a light blade, so it's the more agile you can generally be on a ship, the better off you are.
Can't promise it'll be any better than just any other rapier straight out of the frickin' PH, but it'll be prettier if I succeed.
I mean, certainly. More so if I can even find some of the things that I need to check on here. Oh yeah, that's right. My keyboard is dead. Yeah, so I can't check on that. Put it there. Freaking hell, man. Alright.
You hold your phone very cutely.
Well. Okay, let's see here. Because as I'm looking at the special materials I have here, this is in 3rd edition prices. So,
Okay.
Basically going with this individual, they certainly have enough. They do have some scrap steel to be able to sell you, which they have melted down into ingots. These elven smiths, and you do see a couple of them going back and forth from the back areas where you do hear, hammering and grinding. But this establishment seems to be of elven craftsmen.
Mm-hmm.
And you will be informed that they work a lot in mithril here.
That's
So
super cool, and I would love to use it, but I don't think I can afford.
no, no, you can't. But because it would cost 100 extra gold on top of. So basically, for you, for 25, 13, yeah, it would be like 113 gold worth of material, worth of mithril to craft this blade. But they are able to sell you the the 13 gold worth of steel that you would require to craft this blade.
And
Okay. And what about some way to work it?
uh,
Go and give me a check on your persuasion.
Bro stands ready to pound.
Oh God.
I'm better at persuasion than. Wow. Okay. Doing all right.
You've done well, young grasshopper.
An 18. Okay.
Talking about craft is my thing.
You spend basically you are buying the steel, correct?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, technically
For-
afford the mithril.
What's that?
So technically, I could afford the mithril, depending on what they want me to do to let me work.
Are you trying to are you trying to go? Are you trying to buy the mithril or trying to buy the steel? That's step one. What is it that you're actually looking to purchase here?
I'm. It depends. Like, if I can get them to let me work it, then I would be, or for a reasonable sum or something, then I would be able to afford the mithril, and that's what I would rather do. But
Okay. So I'm saying I guess my better to put it better is what angle you're working, and you're working the mithril angle.
I am working the mithril is very awesome, beautiful metal that I have not had the pleasure of working with. I would love to have them let me work there so I could have expert advice.
Okay, so basically you're hinting around that you would love to make the purchase of some of their excess mithril. This is the angle we're going to be working with. Kind of hinting around is like essentially what I can imagine is you're hinting around going, well, I would love to be able to do this, but I would still need a place to do this and work with excellent craftsmen to help. Basically you're trying to butter them up with the implication that you're looking to buy mithril.
Like a Thanksgiving turkey, honey. Butter.
Yeah. It seems like between having a dwarven craftsman kind of laying it on thick but not too thick, of basically the fine elven craftsmanship. You know, they're amused at this coming from a dwarf. And
Not average dwarf.
no,
Appreciation for
exactly.
finer
And this is this
craft.
and this is and this the sincerity of the appreciation kind of comes through. And while they don't have license to directly to directly, you know, allow someone back into their forge, because that's where their trade secrets are. Basically, it's a company area. However, they do know one of the smiths does seem to occasionally do basic working tours, and does have license to hold workshops. And for an extra 10 gold, the individual at the counter here will set you up with a with basically a private workshop, as you know, how to fold steel, and can be convinced to do a quote unquote hands-on lesson with you.
Mm-hmm.
You get the impression, both you and specifically Roro, that he's basically seems to be justifying in case something goes on. He's basically speaking the legalese that would essentially get you access to a forge. But under the thing is not like we're renting out the room for you to make this. Is we do have a guy who occasionally gives workshops on basic smithing techniques, almost like for the children. Essentially, it's like the quote unquote grade school field trip to go to like the cheese making plant, but with swords, because this is a town of adventurers, and kids are probably playing with knives at a ridiculously young age. So he is able to arrange that for an extra 10 gold, with the agreement that you purchase the mithril to forge your blade.
So that's gonna be 135 altogether, or 130 something.
Let's see, it's 113 for the materials, so 123. Yeah, 123 altogether for all of that.
And what if Morgrim offered to share some of his, not that they really care for it, but dwarven crafting technique?
That'll cost an extra 20 gold.
While the individual doesn't take any offense to this, he sees the angle you're trying to play at, but as you're not a, it's clear to them that you're not one of the you're not from one of the 9 major corporation smithing guilds. He says that your technique is probably quite fine, but the only specific folding skills that they would want or be interested in, it comes from one of the other 8 companies. to
Yeah.
kind of get intel on them. If you could provide this guy intel on one of the others, how they manage this, that could be worth quite a bit of money to kind of get some insight as to how they do what they do.
Well, I don't think I'm too interested in corporate espionage today. Maybe another day.
Roro, on the other hand, his ears twitch. No,
Now, wait a minute.
corporate espionage, you say?
Do you want to own the company or no? Oh,
But yes, that was the impression you get there. It's a little slyer rather than, hey, bring us company secrets, but it's basically implied unless you had skills from one of these other 8 companies that they weren't directly interested. Otherwise, they definitely tout their own. Specifically, you will also learn in out-of-game terms that the specialty equipment that the Quicksilver cache deals in, their weapons are swift enough to grant you their blades can lash out more quickly than others, if not directly accurately. You can make an opportunity attack on melee attacks at disadvantage as a reaction. And their armors allow if you dodge again as a reaction, if you dodge a strike directed at you, you can use their own. You basically can quickly jump like up to jump a short distance out of the way of their blow, kind of helping to reposition and regroup you.
Very interesting.
That was all part of your like schmoozing and with the guys. You've learned generally what the Quicksilver armaments will do.
suddenly very turned on.
Yeah, Triander's major 9 weapon arms guilds. They each have they have capitalism has caused them to really up their game. No standard. Basically, these places do not deal in standard equipment.
Well, Morgrim is super interested in that, and will probably come back and shop again some point if he has money and finds himself in the area, but don't got much else to offer.
That's true.
Robo's gonna take a step over to Scotty and kind of like lean over, more secretive, and he's gonna keep his voice low because I can't actually do that.
Stage whisper.
Exactly. Quicksilver, as in Jihadi Quicksilver.
Scotty will nod, and it was obvious that that was on her mind.
Something seems kind of fishy here. We should talk to people.
Conspiracy theory.
Weren't you the one who didn't want me talking about Dahadi earlier?
You know how in anime they have those pulsing that comes above their eyes? It just looks like a big red vein that's not actually there. That is above Robo's head right now. But he keeps the smile on.
Annoyance mark.
Don't you think they all look generally related?
Does she think that, Quinn?
Well, this is a brunette, so
That's what I was thinking.
They're
I mean,
elves.
first and foremost, he's got kind of a lighter what did I say, like a kind of like a honeyed blonde, honeyed brown hair. Whereas Dahadi's, for one, has silver, like kind of a pale silvery skin, which this guy has a relatively normal complexion. And, Dahadi's hair is black.
Look, Roro, I don't think that any of them look like Dottie, and I think we proved earlier that just because people look like you doesn't mean that there's any relation. So perhaps he knows something of this guild here. Maybe there's some relation in that way, but I don't think that he's related to any of these people.
I mean,
Roro's gonna be very pensive about that response about family and looking similar.
I hate to break up the conversation here, but isn't I isn't Quicksilver another name for Mithril? They seem to be dealing with a lot of Mithril here. So maybe it's nothing?
I thought that we'd been under the understanding that the hottie's name was assumed anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if that's actually his last name. I've never heard anything but that, but I don't know.
But anyways, you guys can continue your little conspiracy talk. Morgrim's taking them up on this offer.
Yeah, you are taken to a side studio, which is still on the premises, but it's away from their main forge area.
Mm-hmm.
And you begin your hands-on lesson as to working with mithril. Like you've never worked with the material before, and it's extraordinary. I mean, you've heard of it. It's very light, very delicate, but sturdy, and it is a joy for a craftsman like you to work with it. We will have you make a check on your smithing tools for me, please.
With good juju from Roro.
What attribute will I be attributing to this role?
Bardic inspiration. Morgrim.
The inspiration would not work because it lasts for a minute, and this process takes a while.
Quinn, I don't think I like your attitude.
Bitch, I'm the DM. You don't have to.
First of all things are possible through Jesus, okay?
I still don't see how this affects Roro situation in any case. Because I don't like what you're implying here, because I'm calling BS right away.
I know.
Just letting you know that.
I mean, come on.
We will say... We'll give it a check on either your strength or dexterity.
Strength it is.
It's kind of what I was leaning towards. Okay. So you're hammering away in the studio, getting pointers from. Go on.
Mentioning it to Instructor Man, am I able to do the thing with the amber that I want?
You have an amber that you want to put into it.
Into the...
Yeah, he'll basically show you how, to work the mithril around it.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's no problem. With your role, you're fine to do that.
Nice.
Okay, so back to the conspiratorial group.
Roro's going to suck in deeply, turn on his heels, and leave.
Are you leaving the building?
No, I'm leaving the plane. Come
Where are you going?
on. Was that in character or out of character?
I don't know. Is Roro actually trying to leave?
Yes.
Well, there you go. Where are you going?
Well, there you go. Bro was just gonna step outside, just right up against the building.
I guess we should probably go and join him. Maybe talk about what's going on here.
Or you can stay in here and talk about how the elves don't look the same.
I think that I've made things strenuous for Roro. I have dragged him around quite a bit. Why don't you go with him? I'll just wait here.
We should probably have some kind of conversation about our next step. I mean, he may be. Looks like we're here for the rest of the day, I guess, while he finishes whatever he's doing there.
If you think that's best, fine. I'm just saying that he's clearly irritated with me.
Roro's irritated with everybody all the time, it seems. So our presence isn't going
That
to
is
do much
not
different.
true.
You're not there to interject.
He's yelling from the outside of the building. Shut your face, Gil.
Better not be irritated with Morgrim right.
Morgrim is the most beautiful dwarf on the planet.
He truly is.
I know.
all
Braid that beard for him.
all hail the Aussie dwarf. Love it.
Scotty will shrug to Gil and gestures for him to lead the way.
He'll lead her outside of where Roro is. All right. Well, while our tag along is occupied here, we really do need to. The question needs asking. We're still headed north, or what's going on?
First, you're going to notice that Burrow's face is a little stiff, as if he's actually trying to hold something back.
You got something to say?
If you don't want an answer, I don't suggest you ask.
No. I mean, this is legitimately with what we know now, or suspect, and whatever. The question needs to be asked and answered.
Well, seeing as we do have some kind of connection with the Huddy, and I've already kind of told you my feelings about it, so I suppose we're heading north.
Yeah, I still maintain that should probably be our course of action. I mean, that's what I would suggest anyway. If we keep headed up that way, I really think that this might just be something to try and shake you.
Scotty will nod, but it's clear that she's upset.
Yeah. What do you think, Roro?
Well, it'd be kind of pointless to turn back around, so north it is.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Alright, so we leave him to his devices for the day. Do we head out in the morning? Or do we want to do we want to head out in the morning, or do we want to spend another day looking around? I don't know what. We do have some time. Time is a little short, but didn't you say that we could possibly get a quicker means out?
Are you talking about that bird thing?
I don't know. You were talking about some way, some easy way to get up in the middle of the desert. I didn't hear
Yeah,
the details of that.
there was that shopkeeper. Uh, not even sure about that. He said that there was a way to get rides to the desert, but it was 100 gold per person.
That bird thing was terrifying.
Bird thing?
Didn't you go into the sleeping shop?
I don't actually remember if he did. It's been a while.
I feel like
He did.
He did? Okay, then it just kind of dawns on him and it's like, oh. Oh, yeah. Wait, he'll fly us to the desert for 100 gold each.
Yeah. Do you have an idea on how to inherit like 400 gold like now?
No, I don't have 400. I don't even have a tenth of that. What are you whispering about over there?
corporate espionage.
Scotty has no problem with that. It doesn't affect her personally.
Well, I made a vast discovery like yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Was there a day in between all this?
No.
Oh,
What were you saying? You did what yesterday?
I thought I was doing the music thing the day before, but I think I was still on the day that we're on right now.
Yeah. You were it was earlier today.
Okay. Well, this morning I found out I can make like 17 gold just by playing music. Who knew that people would just throw money at your face for sounding gorgeous?
Oh, you sheltered thing.
Roro was gonna stick his tongue out at Gil.
I mean, I grew up in a port town. You find people doing that sort of thing a lot. I mean, it's like the second oldest profession.
Well, I grew up in a you didn't need to do that kind of thing to get money.
Yeah, I know. You were born with a silver spoon shoved in your ear.
That's fine, it was rather comfortable.
Not to interrupt, but how long do you think it would take to raise 400 pieces of gold? Because if it took longer than the time to travel to the middle of the desert, then what's the point?
That's true. From where we're at, raising that kind of money. I don't particularly know. From what little I gathered is they have they've got kind of a tight rein on ways to make money around here. Unless we wanted to literally get ourselves a job, but I don't think we'd raise that much money that quickly.
I can always just start playing and we'll see how far I get by the end of today. We'll judge it from there.
I mean, to be fair, getting 15 in gold is pretty impressive. Normally people make that sort of change in like copper. So this is definitely a rich place.
I am kind of impressive.
Don't let it go to your head.
I'll try. I'll put in the effort to try, Gil. Just for you.
Yeah, thanks. Everybody go and... Well, I say everybody, but everybody who's not sweating balls in a furnace can give me an... Oh, we'll say... a... intelligence slash... No, we'll just make a history check. Why not?
Roro's on his game this time.
Yeah,
All my bad rolls are off now. You know, when I could have used them.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was basically just going to be an intelligence check, but whatever. It's part perception, so if you were trained in it, whatever. In fact, I think it actually was you because you were harassing the gentleman at the counter, but at the such and such, while you were harassing Yaram,
Harassing? I was
Quote-
very nice.
you were. I just personally like to consider you to be harassing people.
Probably.
You might have been, but it was taken well enough. There was a pegboard near the counter. While most of it was mostly recruitment ads for the various adventuring and business venturing guilds and businesses around here. You do recall that there was a small thing kind of hidden off in the corner that of this messaging board that there was a inquire for labor, essentially.
Musical labor?
Basically, interested parties looking for side work, essentially, can inquire with management, essentially. Job opportunities inquire with management.
Okay. Why don't we head back to the such and such? I think I remember seeing something there where we can get a really quick, easy job. Something about management.
I suppose that'd be worth looking into. We can at least try to decide if it's quicker to raise the money or just get going.
Well, couldn't hurt to at least ask, right? If your whatever you've got cooking in your head is correct.
So much stress.
Scotty will just kind of frown at Gil.
He wasn't saying that in a dour thing. He's just like, well, if his information's right, couldn't hurt to check. That sort of.
Roro's gonna turn and go into the shop really quick and reapproach the person behind the counter. Can you let our dear friend, the beautiful dwarf in the back, know that we're gonna head back to the such and such, meet us there later? Thank you, you've been kind, especially everything you're doing. And
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Roro talks like he's leaving a voicemail.
Yeah, to the to people he's trying to have a conversation with.
he has insight of that, okay? I don't know. I don't even know how to leave a voicemail myself, okay? He
All
won't
right.
Stop and wait for either of you. He'll just keep walking.
Well, follow that braid.
Scotty will follow beside Gil.
Did you say braid or parade?
Braid.
He didn't braid his hair. Bitch.
Yeah, well, you normally.
Normally, yes.
So, you head back to the such and such. It's getting on towards noon, so activity is kind of started to pile up. You will see Sandy basically give you a nod and just approach you. It's gonna probably be a little while before we can get you a table, unfortunately. But you're welcome to hang around, and we'll get you seated as soon as we can. Yeah.
Well, we're actually here on a different matter. I'm gonna go to the job board and get the little listing thingy.
So you again half address a person and walk right off.
What?
Good to know.
We couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
So once again, Roro half addresses somebody and immediately walks off.
Yep.
I got places to be, okay?
Actually, we're here on different matters. Walking away.
Things to do, people to see. Come on.
See, Sandy will just kind of her gaze will follow off after Roro, kind of eyebrow quirk, kind of, and then just kind of glance back at the two of you. Just all right then.
As a character, obviously. No time for these peasants.
No time for these peasants who are probably higher level than you are. Good to know. Yeah. Oh no, that's absolutely fine.
We'll pick up the job listing.
Well, you go up to the job board where this thing is. It's not a specific listing. It's basically a small inscription on the bottom of the board. It seems relatively easy to miss, what with all the other adverts there. But it's not something that you like take a slip of paper with information off of the main hunk.
I mean, is there a phone number, email, page
It
number?
just
possibly?
says job opportunities available. Inquire with management.
Well, emails are so much more innovative. I'll let them know that while we're there.
Yeah, you go ahead and get the scrying technology for that.
Well, Breva's gonna just show it to Gil and Scotty first.
So I'm guessing Gil and Scott. I'm guessing the two of them kind of approached with him, or at least after Sandy had excused herself to go take care of other customers.
Yeah, Scotty will have followed him, seeing as she doesn't trust for him to not piss somebody off.
He's already annoyed one of the waitresses.
Annoyed?
So what happens when you
Oh, you're
leave
talking about
right in the
somebody
middle?
else then.
No, that was the one that you were being a kind of a creeper towards. No, her twin sister Sandy was the one you were just addressing.
Oh, you see, I didn't remember her name. Because, why would I?
Yeah.
I'm out of control. Oh my god.
You love your role playing Roro. I can just tell you that.
I do. If I didn't have as many consequences of talking at people, can you imagine how much worse it would be?
Oh, I know how much worse it could be for you. Believe me.
For me.
Yup. So you have that. You've pointed that out to them. It's like, all right, well, who's management then?
Well, that's a waitress, so I'm going to say no. The bartender, I'm going to say no, but maybe the bartender can point us towards the right direction?
could be reasonable.
Whoever was going to wave down the bartender then.
Yeah, you see the blue-haired individual kind of, just hold up a finger to you, just, have you wait for a moment as he pours out a couple of drinks to some of the people that are at the bar, and then he'll kind of a minute or two later he'll kind of walk over to you. He's got a small ponytail of his dark blue hair just kind of pulled back. He's got a long since healed a small scar running across his face, definitely indicative of some past adventuring mishap, perhaps. But it's one of those things. It's one of those scars that seems to add character to the individual rather than make them more unsightly looking. Oh, hail again. What can I do for you?
I'm going to note just before he walks over, Rare was going to lean more towards Gil. Are you sure he's not a cousin? He looks like he got a scar from a shark bite, if you get the drift.
I will disembowel you, Roro.
My bad, we'll wait for him to come over.
Not amused. The individual, Yarum, the bartender, is half elf, for one. Mind you.
I'm sorry, we can't be interracial here?
Gil is human. So there's that.
Distant cousins?
Potentially.
He is human, which means his dad sister
Patrick!
banged an elf, and there you go.
There
Oh,
we go.
Don't you get in on this, too.
I mean, I understand somewhat what cousin means.
Okay, so he's gonna approach.
Yeah, he approaches, asks what he can do for you.
Well, we saw this job advert and would like to speak to management, air quote.
Well, I am the owner of the tavern. So you want to speak to me about the job, do you?
That would be wonderful, yes.
What in the hell?
That was Prince complaining.
That was me internally screaming.
Okay. Well, you give me just a few moments to take a look in my ledger, see if there's anything that people haven't cleaned out from me. Don't get many people outside the guilds looking, but I am one of the few who's licensed to hand out a bit of freelance work.
We are good for your time. You go ahead and take that.
As he'll go and he'll basically whistle over for Sandy to come and tend to bar as he goes through a door right off the counter there, and is kind of disappears for a few minutes. It's almost like I should probably have some of these just up and ready to go.
Almost.
So Yarm will come back after a couple of minutes. Looks to have a large binder in hand. This- well, let's go back into my office here. As he'll lead you down a separate. He will lead you through a door that is built into the side of the staircases going up. He'll unlock it, let you guys in, closing the door behind him. Through a small hallway, you'll sit down in a study at the end of the hall, where, there's a couple of couches lining a desk, and he'll set this tome down and sit in there. All right, I do have two assignments that still have well, they're getting close to being I guess expired here. We have an official here from a Mr. Meloris up in the loft, who has had visions of, or dreams rather, of some kind of entity coming in the night and taking a heirloom token from one of the retired soldiers. The date for this assignment is coming up in the next, by the look of it, 2 days. And he's looking to either have the soldier's property defended to thwart the machinations of this nocturnal creature, or it brought to the treasure brought back to it, should it be absconded with. The individual is willing, Mr. Maloris is willing to pay 350 gold if the token is successfully defended. 200 if it is stolen and returned.
Like an extra 200?
No. If the token is, if you fail to keep safe to keep the token from being stolen, but manage to recover it after the fact, he's still willing to pay 200 gold. But if you manage to keep it safe for the duration of the evening, they are willing to pay 350 gold.
Burrow's going to casually look over to the other two. His eyebrows, raised a bit.
I think we should hear the details of the other one as well.
Yes, the other assignment I have is from a Mr. Denton Faze. He he operates a he operates a livery here in the Shire, and it appears that he has incurred a hefty gambling debt.
You're breaking in and out.
What? So one of the an owner of one of the liveries here in the Shire, a Mr. Denton Faze, he's incurred apparently a large gambling debt, and the owner of this debt, Mr. Tarrant Mall, is seeking to claim his livery in payment for this debt. He has, however, offered Mr. Faze a one final gambit, I suppose, for the deed to the livery and an erasure of his debts. He's devised an obstacle course of sorts, pitting a team of his men against any individuals that Mr. Faze could gather to win this game of management, apparently. He has a week remaining, according to the dates on this, to assemble the team and win this last bet. He is looking to pay 200 gold if the team who accepts this bid will help clear him of his debts and save his business and his family. These are the two freelance assignments that I have that one can pick up at the moment.
Well, the first one is sooner, and it sounds like it sounds a little bit more reliable. Roro, what do you think?
I think that's an excellent idea. I mean, how hard could it be?
Scotty will grimace to that question.
I mean, it's coin. We might have to check with our fourth here about such a thing. But it's a possibility. I mean, both of them sound relatively doable. I mean, I like the idea of an obstacle course.
Scotty will grimace again.
Scott, is there like something wrong with your face?
She'll just glare at Roro.
Well,
Sorry.
I mean, these I appreciate you you pulling out these things for us to look at there. Yarum, was it? Yes. I I mean, you are staying here, so I am authorized to allow you access to these freelance jobs. So like I said, the Mr. Faze has the rest till the end of the week to assemble a team willing to take on this. I'm sure that they that if you are prepared, you can do that job near immediately. But the but Father Maloris's task is happening tomorrow throughout the evening. So I would need some assurances to either send to him one an answer one way or the other, hopefully by tonight, so that he could prepare for whatever is to be happening.
Well, my reputation is very good in terms of I never go back and was able to. So I think we accept that one.
Roro, I think we should at least go talk to Morgrim, get his ideas on things, and then we'll come back. You said we could have until this evening, correct?
Yes, no one staying here has inquired as to freelance work. Most people are just just using this as a stop-off point or tourism. But these jobs do go by fairly quickly. I will hold the two of them till tonight for you to make a decision. Otherwise, I will have to open them back up to inquiry.
We'll definitely have an answer for you by this evening.
Very good then. You can just tell me if you tonight when you come in to bed down or for meal, which, if any, you decide to take then. Otherwise, if I don't hear back from you tonight, I'll assume that you're not interested in either.
Then we'll see you this evening.
Of course, miss.
Thank you for your time. You've been quite wonderful.
He will stand and kind of, gesture for you to go back out into the common room.
Scotty will lead the way, just kind of thoughtful, twisting her fingers behind her back. So I guess we go tell Morgrim?
That sounds about right.
And I'll play on the way. That way we can make even more.
You've already kind of busked for money twice today.
You don't.
I let you roll twice. Normally you're only supposed to roll once, all right? So chill.
That sounds like non-fighting word. Sounds like a fucking threat.
I'm just saying you're normally one of those rolls is how much money you make in a day altogether. Like you sitting around playing in various spots for cash that day. I let you make two quick rolls when I technically shouldn't have. So, just for future going on, you have to dedicate a day's labor to playing on the streets.
Wow, we're gonna bring down the Hummer. I haven't had much
Okay.
rest. I'm sorry.
So, how long has Morgan been working by the time that they get there?
Uh, not terribly long. He's probably had about an hour and a half from you guys walking and various stages of having to wait and whatnot. So it's been about an hour and a half.
So, I assume then that he's not at a stopping point?
You can catch him during one of his breaks because there's some time where he has to kind of stop, let the metal rest, and other blacksmithing things because you can't be going at it hard for 8 full hours.
That's further talk.
Oh God, uh, we're all 13-year-olds here, aren't we? Um, but yeah, you can catch Morgrim on one of his breaks.
Roro will skip up. How's it going?
Going all right. No complaints. Quite a fascinating setup they got back there.
You have to take pictures for me. Oh, that's right, wrong time. Stop that. We got exciting news though. We possibly found a way to make some money so that we don't have to walk all the way to the desert.
Kind of raises his eyebrows. What? That sounds pretty good.
Thing is, kind of have to do a job for it, and so we came to ask to see if you're cool doing it with us. Because you're kind of like, you know, with our group and all.
I mean, what's the job?
Well, there's one that I think may be better, and it's tomorrow evening. It appears that it's kind of a guarding job of some kind of heirloom.
All right, that doesn't sound bad.
Well, um, perhaps the man who's asked for this to be handled has had visions of it happening, and if we keep the heirloom safe, we can get 350 gold. And if we can at least make sure it's returned, we can get 200.
All right, and then how much were you needing for this easier way out into the desert?
Well, if I believe it was 400 gold pieces.
Yeah, I think that's what you said.
Well, I'm sure we can come up with that other 50 if we take that job and manage to protect it, but I gotta say, after this little project, I don't have a whole lot left.
Well, there is the second option.
Yes, there is. I'll take that one. Apparently, we have this really shitty gambler who got in debt. Who's pretty in debt, in deep with this other guy, and he's literally betting his farm on paying off his gambling debt. And apparently, the guy has set up a relay course. Would be us against a team of whoever these guys are. This guy manages to drum together. and he's willing to part with 200 gold to have us basically get his ass out of the fire.
I guess we didn't really ask. Would that be like fighting? Or
No,
other
it's
sport like options?
it sounds to me like a relay obstacle course from what he said. You know, we're gonna assume like climbing, jumping, swinging, crawling, you know, all the fun shit.
Fun.
Fun for some people.
Well,
Fun for me.
my training and Gil training me, I should be able to keep up pretty good with that.
I mean, you've gotten better. This is kind of part of what we've been running you ragged for. So I mean, there is that.
I suppose before something like that starts, we should see if magic is allowed.
You could catapult me up whatever we're supposed to climb. That would be so much fun.
Or I could just make you fly.
I mean, I'm semi alright at that stuff, but it's not exactly what my strong point.
Come on, I've heard that. I've heard that you and your kin are natural sprinters. Very dangerous at short distances.
Just imagine the wind in your arms.
It's in the beard.
I think that we should just take both and cut our losses. We might be able to make enough at least then.
Well, here's what I'm seeing here. Worst case scenario, or not worst case scenario, but you know, middling thing. The job tomorrow night, which is when this priest is foreseeing this entity to come and try and steal some token or whatever. If it gets stolen and we manage to get it back, that's worth 200. If we win this guy's livelihood back, that's another 200. So if we're successful, if we're at least minimally successful with both of them, we've got our ticket up to the desert.
And I won't have to convince anybody to give it to us either.
You go ahead. You go ahead and try and negotiate with a lion owl.
I wasn't going to.
My only concern here, Gil, I know you're excited about the obstacle course, but this guy's a bad gambler. Do you really think he has the money to pay for that?
Well, I'm gonna guess that he probably has enough to pay us off. But I'm gonna guess that he's also in debt a lot more than 200 gold.
Maybe we should ask for that run before we start, just to make sure.
I don't think we're gonna be able to convince a guy to pay us ahead of time on such a dicey endeavor.
Maybe not pay directly, but
Some kind of guarantee.
And I suppose we could convince him to pay it.
I mean, if he gets if he tries to jilt us, I'm pretty sure between the four of us we could shake him down.
yes. Beat him down like a commoner he is.
Morgan,
You really need to cool it on the classist bullshit.
He'll rub the back of his head. Embarrassingly. I'm working on it.
Yeah, well,
Morgan, how do you feel about taking both jobs?
Well, I mean, I'm good with it.
I mean, if we have a stunning success here, we might we might be able to come away with some extra pocket change. That'd be nice. Say extra pocket change, like it's not going to be an extra 150 more than what we need, but
Then we can buy something pretty.
Or actually have enough money for the rest of our travels north?
I mean, I wouldn't mind the opportunity to recoup some of what I'm doing here.
You and Scotty, we might have enough to maybe replenish some of your luck. Didn't you lose something that you really needed? Like a bag of some sort?
Scotty just looks absolutely defeated by Roro.
It's a caring question.
you know, and she
rubbing
was,
salt into the wounds.
and she was almost in a good mood.
In circles, so it's at least a massage as well. Can Scotty really be that mad at Roro for the fact that, well, she has the spells off, doesn't she? And I may have actually just forgotten the actual name of the thing you guys were talking about earlier.
Hmm. Well, we can go and tell them that we're interested in taking a crack at either one, so that's a good thing. Sure, that'll make him happy.
Alright, then I guess there's no reason to wait for this evening. We can just go back and let him know.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's been a while since we've done some honest work. Some of us almost ever.
Shifting eyes suspiciously.
Morgan will just. Alright, sounds good. Why don't you guys go take care of that and I'll get back to work here.
Yeah, that's fine. Just give us the power. Give us your power of attorney, and we'll be fine.
The power, what?
Don't worry about it. Meta joke.
Oh, well, I didn't hear.
That's fine.
You're a
All
mad
right.
joke.
I am, and not a funny one either. So Morgrim will go back to work in the foundry, as the three of you will go back to speak to Yarum, who will have you sign for the contracts that you were responsible for them. He will put that in his ledger, and he will hand you essentially the contact information. And yeah, basically you need to for the job to Father Maloris, he'll give you he'll send word to expect you. To meet with him before midday tomorrow, so that he can give you more details as to what's going on there. As far as Denton's task, you just need to report to him at the before the end of the week, so that he can set up with the other guy when to actually hold this competition. And I will gather the how do you want to put the details of that, and we'll have that ready to go as you attempt your next stage tomorrow or next week. Morgrim, by the end of the day, you have crafted yourself a fine mithril rapier, and you are pretty proud of yourself. This is a very handy piece. Your
Nice.
your elven instructor is pretty pleased with your technique. He seems that he sees that your attention to detail is nice. You're certainly not a novice, and holds a little bit of respect as how a dwarven craftsman can appreciate being able to work in a relatively elven style.
It's all good.
So there's a little bit of a mutual respect forming there between you and this craftsman.
Hell yeah.
But you have yourself a mithril rapier. And we will put a pin on tonight's session there, with you waking up in the morning, preparing yourselves for what could be a long evening. So, thanks as always for being around. This is a good time had by all. And yeah, we will see you again next week for the whole one other person that stopped in here. Thank you, Mom. Yeah, I still need to figure out a time to actually start streaming again. Maybe I'll go for that on Wednesday. I don't know.
Let's start bitching at you.
Yeah, maybe. I keep getting myself distracted with other projects, but that's neither here nor there, and I'll figure that out later. But for now, all of you take care, good night, and we'll see you next time.